This video is brought to you by the Deck of Many and their animated spell cards, and by Steamforged Games and their Kickstarter for Animal Adventures: The Faraway Sea. Hello and welcome to the Gallant Goblin. Today I've got something a little different for you. As you may know, there is a new set of Magic the Gathering cards landing now based on Dungeons & Dragons and the Forgotten Realms. I've dabbled in Magic before, but it's been a while. But we're going to do our best to cover the new line of cards, and if you're going to be picking some up too, you too may be looking for a creative storage solution for your decks. Lucky for you, our sponsor at Hit Point Press is currently running a Kickstarter to expand their line of beautiful and functional card deck boxes. It's called Cube-A-Ma-Jig Series 2. You can use the boxes with your Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, your Fantasy Flight games like Game of Thrones, Star Wars, and Lord of the Rings, or you can just use them to store your trusty old baseball card collection if you want to. To learn more about the project, I wanted to bring in Mr. Brian Walters from Hit Point Press. He's worn a lot of hats at Hit Point Press, including event coordinator and art director. So if you're thinking about starting your own Kickstarter and want some tips, or you're an artist wanting to know more about how to get hired by gaming companies, we're going to try to squeeze all that information out of them. And we'll learn more about what conventions might look like going forward too. So without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Brian Walters to the show. Brian, thank you for joining us today.
Theo, it's great to be here.
Your Kickstarter is live now. How does it feel?
It's a little nuts. Been working on this for, over 8 months now. And it's kind of weird to be one of those things that was like, I can talk to people about it finally, where it was more, oh, hey, there's a thing I'm working on. And then it was like, oh, hey, there's a thing that was just announced. And now I imagine it's pretty nuts that it's just live and out there in the wild, like baby, like raised by wolves, here you go by.
Everybody I've talked to, everything I've read, says that Kickstarters are way more work than people anticipate going in. But you've done this before, so you may have known a little bit more what to expect. It's still overwhelming, though, I imagine.
Yes. It is a very different creature. I get a little bit more involved every time. My first Kickstarter was back in 2017, working with the Magic Art Show. I mostly just did logistics. My job was to make sure the stuff got there, that the show was set up correctly, and that everything was good. The Kickstarter was mostly handled by Josh Krause with original Magic Art, and Mike Linneman, Vorthos Mike on Twitter. And so they kind of handled most of that, and then started working with Hit Point Press on some of their early Kickstarters, mostly just to help out with the US side of things. And then this one is the first one I've been as involved as I am with it. And I know we mentioned talking about some of the things that people can do to be prepared. I would say planning, lots and lots of planning, and then also being prepared when, what's that phrase? Your plan survives until first contact with the enemy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared to adjust on the fly a lot.
Tell us a little bit more about Cube-A-Ma-Jigs and what this project is.
So Cube-A-Ma-Jigs, this one's series 2. It's actually a sequel to the Kickstarter from 2018. In 2018, back when it was just the Card-A-Ma-Jigs brand for the Magic the Gathering accessory stuff, Rico and Jordan designed these resealable booster packs for Magic the Gathering. So if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering cubes, it's where you design your own draft experience. So you pick the cards that are in it, sort them out, and then players play a draft, but with cards that are curated by somebody. And they wanted something, typically like people put them back into boosters or they just leave them in stacks, and it makes it very hard to organize and shuffle and hand out. These are designed to recreate the experience of opening a booster. So the series 2, we went back, took the feedback from a lot of the community and said, how can we make this better? So they've been redesigned with like new seams so that they close more compactly and neatly. There's like scratch resistance coating, and new art. So that's the big thing. My big thing is we actually commissioned art for this one, whereas previously we worked with artists and licensed work that they had available. This one, we actually went out and commissioned art themed around some of the biggest pieces or creature types in Magic the Gathering, to really make it so it's a very like Magic cube experience, and that you can customize it the way that you want to. And then we're also introducing a new box. It's called the Potamajig. So it's actually a cube storage box, because that was one of the big questions from the first Kickstarter, was like, okay, these Cube-A-Jigs are great, but what do I store them in? We're like, this. And so we have this really cool box that's designed to house a full cube or commander decks, or if you like playing other board games, like I'm excited to put the Pathfinder adventure card game in there.
Yeah.
Just because I have a whole bunch of expansions for that, and it's nice to have just one box I can put everything in neatly.
Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of D&D players, or a lot of folks who love Hit Point Press and the Big Bad Booklet series, and a lot of the work you all do, and the reference cards here, a lot of them are going to be looking to Magic the Gathering this year, since D&D has a set coming out for Magic the Gathering. So there's going to be a little bit more interest, I think, from our community over to Magic the Gathering. How many pieces of art do you have available for this Cube-A-Majig, the new Kickstarter?
So far, we have over 30 pieces of new art. Done by some of the biggest names in Magic the Gathering's history.
Wow.
So Donato Giancola, he did a Lotus for us called Scorched Lotus. We mentioned doing this like Weatherman thing right here.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Woohoo, look at that, Scorched Lotus. I was really excited to work with Donato on that one because I'm a huge fan of his. I still remember opening cards with his art on it back in 1999, back when I first started playing Magic the Gathering. And I've loved his work since then. We have Greg Hildebrandt did a piece for us too. That was themed around, there's like a big black hole sucking a guy in with a lot of planets, which Greg does great with planets. We're going to do that one.
Oh, that's amazing. Look at that.
Right. And I was really I've loved Greg's work since I was opening his cards on his art on those old Marvel Masterpiece cards from like 1990, the early 1990s. Mm-hmm. And then working with artists all over the world. Livia Prima did a Necromancer for us. I think we're calling that Raise the Hordes. Lena Richards did a whole run of reinterpretations of the Power 9 Moxes with like creatures on the inside of them. I'm assuming those are flashing around me. Maybe I don't.
Yeah, I can see them right there. Look at that.
Right. No. And it's 30 plus pieces of work, over 20 different artists, and it's really been an experience for me getting to work and produce and make that art, and I'm really hoping the community really likes it too.
That's awesome. No, you work with a lot of artists, and we know there's a lot of folks out in the community who are aspiring artists, who are artists but are aspiring to maybe work more in a certain realm or get their art noticed for projects like this. What do you recommend to those folks who are just trying to get their work out there and get noticed?
I think every art director is going to have a different process. For me, I do a lot of trade shows and I work a lot of conventions. So I meet a lot of artists that way. My favorite place to hang out is Artist Alley. So I will typically move through that to try to see new art or new artists that might be coming up. And it's also a great place to see people that are doing portfolio reviews. I'm not going to lie, I have hung out or volunteered at portfolio reviews just so I can see the people coming in and out, because they love showing their work off. And so sometimes I get a sneak peek of somebody's work that's coming out. But yeah, Gen Con, IlluxCon's a great one for that one in Reading. It's a low key like fantasy art convention, but the portfolio reviews there are really nice. Lightbox Expo was really great back in all the way back in 2019. They've moved to more of a digital experience lately, but that's also a great place to meet and network with artists. And then the other one, because Jordan, one of our other project managers that was here, and art directors that was here talking, Twitter hashtags, oddly enough. So Portfolio Day, Visible Women, Art Poster, I'm not gonna lie, I routinely like search those in Twitter and go through those as much as I can to try to see if there's anybody that has work that I think would fit what we're looking for.
What do you have planned for the future of Cubamajigs and this whole line? Do you have like with the Kickstarter, like what are you hoping to move into?
For Cubamajigs, there's a lot of opportunity for more art. So if this turns out to be very popular with the community, we can keep getting more artists to work with, more art, different Cubamajigs, different Potamajigs. In this one, we're also looking to work with inked playmats to make playmats, so that we can, if you really like the art and you want to play on it, it's an option too. We're starting to partner with Dragon Shield to make sleeves for some of the art that we commissioned for this. So if you want to superstore with that big box sleeve and play on Donagi and Cole's Lotus, that's an option. So assuming that these are popular enough, like we'll just continue doing stuff like that. And then I look forward to the Cubamajig Series 3 when we get more community feedback and we figure out what the next iteration of that's going to be.
Just keep iterating, right? You just got to keep making it better and
Right.
better. And so you talked a little bit about for folks maybe looking to do their own Kickstarters for their projects that they have that are passion projects. You talked about planning and how, be adaptable, be agile when it comes to, launching and your plans hitting the reality. Do you have any other advice for people looking to do their own Kickstarters?
I would say talk to the community. There are lots of Kickstarters. There are like Kickstarter like advice videos that like Kickstarter will publish these videos every once in a while that'll kind of like walk you through some of the planning and stages and where you should be at different points for when you do your Kickstarter. I've attended a few of those. But realize that there's an entire community out there, just like our gaming community. There's a bunch of people that if you reach out will help you. I know I've seen Rico at conventions get approached by people and he'll talk to them about where they're at with their Kickstarter, what it's looking like, and offer what advice he can. So it's just, there's a whole community of creators out there that will help it when you need it. So again, like realizing your limitations and then knowing it's okay to reach out for help. Like we don't all have the answers because we're not all omnipotent. Right.
Oh, yeah. So what I'm hearing is like you want to give us Rico's personal phone number so we can have all call him up with our questions.
I don't think I even have Rico's personal phone number. Actually, no, I do. From one of the passes. Mostly it's reaching out over Discord, but we do have a Discord community for Hit Point Press that people can go on there, ask some questions, comment on the Kickstarters. We try to be as transparent as possible when it comes to all of our updates. Like when COVID hit, there was a lot of stuff that we were anticipating being at a certain point that we just didn't reach, even with as much planning as we did. So like if you backed Heckna or the animated spells, like we've been very like, yep, we wanted to hit here because of COVID and this stuff, we didn't quite get there. Here's where our new timeline is. So creators for the most part are very open to feedback and providing feedback when we're able to.
And I've backed, oh my God, like 150 Kickstarters over the years. And just as on the other side of things, I think when we see the creators, all we want as the creators is to be honest. If there's mistakes, if there's problems, if there's delays, like as long as the communication is there, I think generally people are fine with it. There's always gonna be one or two complainers, but as long as that communication piece is there, like we're usually like, yeah, we understand, it's life. Like, thank you for just letting us know. That's all. We just want to be in the loop. So
right, and we all just want to be communicated with. Right?
Yeah. Just in life in general. But let me ask you one last thing before I let you go here. So you also do, in your job there, you've done a lot of convention work. And we're now hopefully moving into the realm where in-person conventions are going to be a thing again. So what are Hit Point Press's plans for this year for conventions? And what does that look like?
So yeah, COVID threw a whole bunch into the loop. We talked about it. My original job was just convention stuff, and when that went to the wayside, I kind of stepped into the Cubamajigs thing. Now that stuff is opening back up, hopefully because everything's getting better, we're looking into doing Gen Con in September. And for that one, Gen Con's already put out its social distancing and the checks that it's going to do as part of that convention, like reducing capacities, more space between booths. So for us there, we're like everybody like if you're working at the booth, you have to be vaccinated. We're going to have hand sanitizer, all the stuff to make sure that the staff feels as safe as they can while they're there. And then that's middle of September. And then we have PAX Unplugged that we're planning on attending in December, which is in Philly. Oh yeah, Gen Con's in Indianapolis. I'm assuming most gamers are pretty familiar with that one because it's a pretty big one.
Yeah.
PAX Unplugged is a smaller board game convention that's held in Philadelphia in December. And then hopefully into 2022, we did PAX East in 2019, and that went really well. And so I hope to attend that again. There was talks of trying to do some other conventions like what was the other one? Origins.
Yeah, it's a big one. We have
Yep.
PAX South down here in San Antonio. I'm just saying.
So PAX South is one that Rico and I, the owner, have discussed. It's just for the most part, I try to keep it to ones that are easily drivable for me here in Delaware, the land with no name. Delaware, that place. So we've kind of kept it to the East Coast to the Middle East of the United States. So Ohio, Indianapolis, some places within like a 12-hour drive. I do eventually want to try to do PAX South and even PAX Prime in Seattle, just because the PAXs have been really nice to us between PAX Unplugged and then PAX East in 2019. But there's oodles of conventions out there. What was it? The Gygax, the Gary Gygax Con.
Yeah.
That's when that's in his hometown, like Geneva, maybe.
It's all virtual this
Dragon
year.
Con.
Yeah. This year is just all the digital conventions. Like, how was that for you all?
We tried Gen Con's digital convention in 2020, and it just didn't really resonate with, I guess, our audience as much. So we found for now we're not really focusing too much on the digital side of conventions. I hope to move into that like in the future, because I'm guessing they're not going to go away. Like the digital parts of conventions are just going to become more and more prominent.
Yeah.
I admit I have a much bigger background in physical conventions than I do digital ones. So I do hope to start partnering with to like start hosting like online like games of Humblewood or Heckna, so that we can engage with the audience through the digital side of stuff as well as the physical presence in the conventions. But our pinky toe dip into that with Gen Con in 2020 wasn't as big as we'd hoped. Like Gen Con in person was much more successful for us. So
yeah,
we're looking forward to the returning to in-person conventions.
Well, hopefully we'll all be able to see you later this year at one of these conventions. Hopefully things will stay calm and we can all get back to it, because I know we all miss just hanging out and seeing each other. We always have our con friends. And so just being able to get back to that would be great.
I miss my my artist family, my Artist Alley family, and my con friends. It's pretty nuts. What was it? Gen Con, I haven't missed one since 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, it was my first Gen Con, and then last year was the first time I missed, and I was like, 2020 doesn't feel like a year.
Yeah, we're just gonna cut it out of the history books. It'll be fine. Well, anything that
Trim
you
it off
want
either
to,
end.
yeah, absolutely, that would be the best. Anything you want to leave us with about Cuba Majigs while your Kickstarter's live? Anything that we haven't asked you about that you want to tell us before we let you go?
As far as the Cuba-Jigs go, not that I can think of. I'm assuming the link will be somewhere in the description, possibly, or
Down there
somewhere
in the doohickey
around.
down there.
Right, there's a doohickey. For the Kickstarter link, back now, tell your friends. You might not be a Magic player, but one of the things I'm excited about this is that it's not just for Magic players. it's for any kind of like standard size card storage. I say that when most of our cards are tarot card size.
Right.
But who knows what's down the road. But for this one, like if you love art, I love art. And there's some beautiful art that's coming out for this. We probably showed some off in the Weatherman style thing over there. And I really want there to be more. So if anybody's excited about that, or you need any card storage, Cube Majig Series 2 is probably for you.
That's awesome. And Brian, where can folks find you if they just want to see what you're up to?
For me, I'm on Twitter under the Twitter handle Props of Prophecy. So with the @ symbol in the front, obviously.
It's on the screen right now. There
you go. And then if you want to hit up Hit Point Press, same thing, Hit Point Press on Twitter. We also have the Cardamajigs one that'll talk more about the Cube Majigs Twitter handle. And then if you want to go to our website, www.hitpointpress.com. And that's where you can find all of our projects, including the ones you have on your desk. So our animated spells, Humblewood, our creator projects that we worked with, like HTP Paladin on Cena Una, Griffin Saddlebags. We have our hands in a whole bunch of different pots. And that's where you can reach us.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and talking to us today. We're really excited for the Kickstarter. I hope it's super successful, and we're going to be following along. I mean, everything Hit Point Press has done so far, I've been a huge fan of, and so I'm really excited to see how this turns out and all your new art.
Thank you. I'm really excited too. One of the things I've really liked about working with Hit Point Press is that we like creating stuff that we want to use. So if we're excited about it, we hope the community is excited about it, and so that's great to hear.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today.
It's great to be here. I really appreciate the invite.
Thank you again, Brian, for joining us today. The Cube Majig Series 2 Kickstarter is underway right now. You can use the link in the floating eye up there to take a look at it. They've already blasted through quite a few stretch goals, so go check them out before it's too late. Stay tuned to the Gallant Goblin for more coverage of the new Adventures in the Forgotten Realm set of Magic the Gathering cards. And check out everything Hit Point Press has to offer at hitpointpress.com. One thing you don't want to miss is their current sale on the new animated spell cards. They have a load of new decks featuring high-level 5e spells, conditions, townsfolk, and the in-game magic item, the Deck of Illusions. You can get a real-life deck of animated cards that replicates the in-game item, which is just about the coolest loot you can give your adventuring party. And it won't entirely upend the game like the Deck of Many Things might. Learn more and pick up your decks today while the sale is still going on at animatedspells.com. And don't miss the new Kickstarter for Animal Adventures of Faraway Sea on Kickstarter right now. This new set in the Animal Adventures line features 10 new animal species to play as, each with its own new mini, plus new enemies, expanded cat and dog adventurer rules, a fantastic and mysterious new island chain setting, 3 new adventures, and so much more. See our full preview in the eye in the corner of your screen and check out the campaign where you can help unlock stretch goals and get the lowest price possible for the new book and minis, plus pick up the Kickstarter exclusive Baby Kraken mini. It's all in the eye in the corner of your screen and in the links below. That's Animal Adventures: The Faraway Sea. And thank you for watching today. We'll be diving into some new reviews here very soon. Be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell icon down there to be notified when we drop new videos. You can chat with us on our Discord server and find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For now, please stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I'll see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.